Welcome back to Mr. Chris Metzen reading us the Heartlands audio novella. Last time on Heartlands, it was revealed that Marran is actually the true villain of this story, as a fanatical believer in what human kingdoms used to be, and believing that it only should belong to humans and orcs have no place in this world. And also decide to sneak attack Jaina with what I assume was a sleeping dart, while Thrall also found out that he and Gayara are actually brother and sister, somewhat, not entirely, but in a weird way. Anyways, yeah, that was revealed. So, anyways, let us continue.
Blizzard Entertainment presents Heartlands by Adam Christopher, part of World of Warcraft, The War Within. Narrated by Chris Metzen. Chapter 4, Marran's Choice. As twilight fell on the highlands, Thrall looked out over the dusky landscape from his position atop one of Hammerfall's many watchtowers. In the distance, the vague shadow of Stromgarde's tallest tower was quickly swallowed by the falling night. Thrall wondered how Jaina's mission was going. It couldn't be any worse than his. Goel! He didn't turn as Gayara climbed the watchtower. For a moment, he felt the heat of anger rise again, but he quickly quelled it. He had spent hours in solitude and had thought much about what had been revealed, and how he felt about it. He still wasn't sure, but he did know that he wasn't here to fight Gayara. The Mag'har leader leaned on the wall next to him. He could feel the tension between them, and he didn't like it. He sighed and turned to face her. "I'm sorry." Gayara bowed her head. "It is I who should apologize. I wanted to tell you when the time was right. You should never have found out in the middle of a war council." She looked up and met Thrall's gaze. "I'm sorry. Truly. I allowed my anger to take over." "So did I," said Thrall. "And the truth is, I am angry. But I know that feeling will give way to gratitude in time." She barked a laugh. "Gratitude? Agra and I should keep secrets from you more often, it seems." He smiled. "You are a gift, Gayara, truly. One I never expected to receive. To know I have a sister, even one from a world, a timeline different from mine. To know that I am not alone. To know that through you, I can learn about our parents, even as we learn about ourselves." Duratan and Draka, at least my Duratan and Draka, would have loved you, said Gayara softly. Just as they loved me. I should not have spoken ill of our father before. I shamed his memory. It saddens me that you never felt that love.
I mean, technically, Gayara, he did meet them in Warlords of Draenor. They just didn't find out or realize who that was, but it's not like he never got to meet them.
Thrall shook his head. I had the good fortune to know them for a time, before you were born, and to meet our mother's spirit in the Shadowlands, to fight alongside her. These encounters alone were enough to fill my cup, but to have a sister too. I hope to know you better, and to hear your memories of Duratan and Draka, if they are not so painful to share. We are nothing but the sum of our memories, all of us. Duratan and Draka live on, through us. They fell into a more comfortable silence. About Agra, Gayara said, Please do not be hard on her. Thrall nodded. I've thought of little else besides you and Agra these last few hours. I know the heavy burden a secret can be, and I know it was not hers to share. Gayara inclined her head. They moved to the other side of the watchtower, where Thrall could look down into the muster yard of Hammerfall. Even as night fell, the Korkron were busy training. You are a fine leader, sister. Must run in our bloodline. Thrall sighed. Even as he did not want to turn to it, there was more urgent business at hand. You must hear me, Gayara. I have seen enough injustice against our people to fill a lifetime. Several lifetimes. But I have always tried, at least, to stay true to a single path. To walk toward an ideal that all our people can strive for. He gestured at the activity down in the yard. Sometimes that ideal must be reached through battle, but more often it can be reached through peace. Gayara shook her head. Marran will not speak with us, Goel. She doesn't care about our claim to this territory. She does not believe in our right to exist at all. She will not stop until the flag of Stromgarde flies over this very watchtower, or it is razed to the ground. She sighed. At least when the Magyar faced the Lightbound, they offered us a choice. Thrall nodded, acutely aware of the history Gayara spoke of.
That is true. From what I remember on that Magyar questline, Yarel actually did sort of offer them a choice, but then was like, okay, that was your choice, you chose the wrong one, now I'm going to force the actual right choice on you. Which is when we got out of there, but yeah.
Your first responsibility is to your people, he said. I will not deny that. But I will give you this challenge, Gayara. Find where Stromgarde is hurting. Seek out the pain that drives them to this path, and you may find that better way. Perhaps Marran will never choose peace over victory, but the people of Stromgarde might. He looked up at the far horizon as the two moons of Azeroth, the White Lady and the Blue Child, began their journey skyward. It is not just the Arathi Highlands that are in danger. It is all of Azeroth. Xalatath, said Gayara. Agra tried to explain the situation while you slept. I fear I pushed her away. Jaina will make Marran see sense. I know it.
Yeah, about that, Thrall.
Gayara tightened her fist. I cannot believe that Marran will agree so easily. Thrall raised an eyebrow. But will you? I will help, Thrall. You know I will. But we must fight one battle at a... A horn sounded, distant. Gayara froze, then ran to the opposite wall. Thrall followed and soon spotted a raider tearing up the road to the main gates. The orc blew his horn again, this time answered by the same from within Hammerfall itself. Raider, yelled Gayara, leaning over the parapet. What news? The 7th Legion! The Stromic army! The raider's wolf mount rose up on its hind legs and howled at the rising moons. They march! We're under attack! The yard below jolted into frantic activity. No sooner had the war horns sounded than the Korkron and Magyar assembled, quickly organizing themselves into companies of raiders. Thrall turned to where Gayara had stood just a moment before, but quickly realized she was already gone. Thrall could only despair as the Korkron headed out through the open gates, ready for battle. Thrall! As the last of the mounted warriors rode out of the muster yard, Thrall saw Eitrig and Agra waving at him. He hastened over to join them, the trio clasping hands in greeting. Eitrig is with us, said Agra. The Korkron will stand down if you command it. Eitrig cursed under his breath. This could very well start a new war, he said. I will not let the armistice that Varrock Sarfang fought for die so easily. He laid a heavy hand on Thrall's shoulder. Say the word, my friend, and I will deliver your orders to Talgar. No, Thrall cut in. Not yet. Countering Gayara's command would only sow chaos on the field. I may be able to sway her, but I must reach her. Luck then, my friend, said Eitrig. As the old chieftain rushed off, Thrall surveyed the muster yard, spotting the wolf stables on the other side. Come, he called to his mate. We may yet have a chance. Jaina woke with a start. The room was dark and eerily quiet. She sat up only for the thundering pain in her head to almost send her back to oblivion. Closing her eyes, she counted to 10, then tried again, slower this time. This seemed to work. She saw she was back in her quarters, but it was now night. She gingerly felt her neck. Zatasia's dart had only just grazed her, but it had been enough to deliver a knockout dose of sleeping poison. Or had it? Because now Jaina was awake, and while it was night, she realized that the effects of the poison had worn off far sooner than Marran had planned. She moved to the window and opened the drapes, revealing a city brightly lit by 2 moons high in the night. A city that was quiet and still. Far too still. While it was reasonable to expect the citizens of Stromgard had retired for the night, there was also no sign of the 7th Legion, or Stromic army, below. It didn't take Jaina long to realize why. She could hear it, distant but clear. The shouted commands, loud over the clank of plate armor. The thunder of many steel boots marching beside the trot of heavy horses. And there, coming out from behind the far city wall, ordered rows of flaming torches, carried by troops as they advanced in the night toward the Orcish holdings. Jaina wasted no time. She had to stop Marran before it was too late. Picking up her staff from the floor, Jaina focused her power and teleported out of the room. Atop a crest a few miles from Hammerfall, Thrall swiftly dismounted, ducking down into the shadowed cover of the tall rocks to get a view of the battlefield. He turned at the sound of Agra's mount following up the slope, waving a hand for her to join him in the shelter. On their journey from Hammerfall, they hadn't sighted Gayara at all, though their search had been impeded by both the darkness and the battle itself. Even now, as he and Agra watched the fighting below them, it was all Thrall wished to be able to somehow stop the bloodshed. It wasn't just the warriors who had died needlessly this night. There were civilians too, common folk on both sides who had made the Highlands their home, and who now found themselves in the middle of a pointless, bloody fight. "Goel, there!" Thrall followed Agra's outstretched hand, and yes, there was Gayara. The Magyar leader, still on her mount, was perhaps half a mile distant, her axe swinging as she fought off one hapless Stromic soldier who dared get too close. As the man fell, Gayara reined in her mount, then disappeared down a hillside. "Come," Thrall said. "We must get to her." But Agra did not move. "You have your mission," she said, "but there is more I might do." She pointed down at the battle. "I can feel the elements would lend their aid to stopping this violence, even if it means tearing the very earth of the Highlands apart. It is there I must go." Thrall looked wary. Though he would never doubt Agra's skill, he knew well the chaos of battle and the many friends he'd lost on the field. "You're certain?" Agra nodded as she mounted her wolf. He registered only a moment of shock on her face before she cried, "Goel, down!" Thrall did exactly as Agra commanded, ducking as somewhere over his head came the roar and heat of flame. Risking a glance at the hillside, Thrall saw a fire elemental careening toward a squad of 7th Legion soldiers who were advancing toward them. At Agra's command, the fire elemental exploded before it reached its target, the resulting shockwave knocking the humans back. Immediate danger over, Thrall stood. The dazed humans rolled on the ground, groaning, as he went back to Agra. "I suppose I have no reason to worry," he said. And to his surprise, he found the compliment sticking just a little in his throat. Agra's command of the elements was indeed masterful, and he cleared his throat. At this, Agra smiled. "They will come back to you, Amosh."
Oh, that's why he didn't have his poison cleansing totem, because he's still kind of struggling with the elements. Even now, he's still struggling with them.
As will I. Thrall smiled as he watched Agra disappear into the fray. Then he returned to his wolf and took the reins. Jaina materialized back in the same hollow she and Thrall had first arrived in. She spun, senses alive to the battle already raging around her. At her back, a squad of 7th Legion, recovering from the surprise of her sudden arrival, lifted their weapons as warriors of the Korkron appeared on 2 sides from behind the ridgeline. The orcs, their battle cry loud enough to make Jaina's ears ring, charged down the slope. The humans answering braced themselves for combat. Jaina was caught right in the middle. Spinning on her toes, she swept her staff in a great horizontal arc, the crystal lighting the hollow with its magic, her hands radiating frost and snow. Around her, a water elemental spawned with a great splash, the apple-sized globe of blue and pink light growing instantly into a towering giant of energy. It surged out, rolling like a wave as it pushed both humans and orcs out of the hollow.
I want to remind you folks of what we saw Jaina do when we had her as a raid boss in the Battle of Dazar'lor raid in BFA. Like, ever since that fight, we should know what Jaina is really capable of. Because seriously, if she wanted to, she could absolutely stop this fight. Like, with her full power. Because we know she can, because we saw what she was capable of in that raid.
Racing up the slope, already conjuring another elemental, Jaina saw a troop of warriors engaged in a fierce melee. Staff alight, Jaina channeled the arcane. She might not be able to stop the battle single-handedly, but she could do her best to keep the combatants apart and casualties low. Gayara raced across the battlefield, cutting through the wheat fields of Goshek Farm on her mount, axe high to rally the Korkron as the army spilled out behind her. Already the 7th Legion was close to their holdings. Already she could hear the din of battle as advanced raiders from both sides clashed in the shadowed foothills of the Arathi Highlands. To attack at night was madness, Gayara knew, but she expected nothing less from Marran Trollbane. She did not expect to see flashes of vibrant color in the distance, however. As her warriors surged around her and met their enemies in bloody combat, Gayara commanded her mount to a nearby hilltop so that she might survey the scene. She glimpsed a mage aiding the battle for the humans, Jaina Proudmoore. Gayara felt the fury burn within her. It seemed the Alliance treachery ran deeper than her brother knew. She would put a stop to this interference. With a battle cry, Gayara kicked her heels into her mount and rode off toward the mage. But as she crested the next hill, she realized all too late that she had charged straight into an attack. She saw the flash of light, bright as the morning sun's first shard, and then the water elemental, summoned by Jaina, barreling toward her, growing in size until it filled her entire vision. Gayara knew it was too late to even try to outrun it, but she still pulled the reins of her mount, turning the beast, which howled in protest in a last-ditch attempt to avoid contact. The elemental struck her like a runaway Kodo, and as the magical creature vanished in a splash of purple light, Gayara found herself thrown from her mount. The story continues in Heartlands Chapter 5, The Battle of Goshek Farm.
So, of course, we have to have the misperception of, Jaina's here! She must be helping the humans! Of course we have to have this because, heaven forbid, we don't have some kind of, misperception about Alliance versus Horde. Jeez Louise. It's just one of those where it's just like, fake drama! To set up the next part. It's almost like in those old shows where it's like the misperception of what's going on to set up the commercial break or the to be continued. You know, the old dun dun dun. Anyways, we will be seeing the conclusion of this in the final part. Stay tuned.